Today we're going to discuss the 3.22 patch notes, specifically with respect to how they are affecting Spark Trickster and Spark Inquisitor. It shouldn't be a long video because, long story short, both of these builds are getting through completely unscathed. So that, technically speaking, this means you could use the 3.21 League Start guides for either of those builds and they would work just as well as they did in Crucible League. However, I'm always trying to improve my builds, and I do think both of these League Starters deserve a brand new League Start guide. So you can look out for the Spark Inquisitor League Start Guide for 3.22 to come out hopefully on the weekend, just as soon as I can get it out, with some improvements over last league. And then that will be followed shortly after with the CI Spark Trickster League Start Guide, which will probably have even more changes than the Inquisitor update. All right, as for the patch notes, I have highlighted a few things worth at least mentioning. So let's just go through that real quick. First thing to note is something a lot of people are asking me about, which is the new support gem returning projectiles, which gives your skill a damage penalty, but you get the projectiles to return to you. And the way this is worded, I don't think it's going to work with Spark. It's worded the same as the Nimi's ring, and Nimi's no longer works with Spark. Now, even on the slight chance that this does work, the damage penalty is 70% when the projectiles are returning, and we don't know how much that improves because it's going to scale with gem level. I think we can assume maybe 50% would make sense. And with these numbers, it doesn't seem too crazy. Maybe it could be used as like your final like 6th link in the Spark, but it's nothing too crazy. We'll have to wait and see for the league launch to see if this even works. Although if it works, it would essentially be doubling our Spark duration. However, the second half of the duration would be doing significantly less damage. And the best cases for something like this would be if you're doing a boss in like a tight arena, just so you can preload the arena with a bunch of Spark bolts. Again, don't expect this to do anything. And even if it does, it's going to be like a fringe 6th link. It's nothing crazy. And the next thing, we can scroll down a little bit. Okay, Forbidden Sanctum. So Forbidden Sanctum is coming back to the game. Spark's really good at Forbidden Sanctum, so that is good news for us. Now, the thing of note here is that monsters in the Forbidden Sanctum are immune to damage if there is no player within 100 units of them. So I want to show you guys what 100 units looks like. All right, so this is a character's screen. Like right at the end is the end of his screen, and the end of the screen is around 85 units. So that means you can off-screen things, but barely. That's okay, because with Spark, the Sparks cover the whole screen anyways. So like when you start to see monsters on your screen, they're probably going to start getting hit. But that is something to note. You can kind of off-screen, but maybe not, depending on what your monitor resolution is. So Atlas changes, we're losing some maps, we're gaining some maps. Now we're gaining Carcass, which is one of the better maps at the beginning of the league to do with Spark, and that's because it's a very, very tight map. It's one of the tightest maps, and it's also just a complete straight line. So your Sparks are going to overlap, and they're going to shoot like forwards, and it's going to do like double, triple damage. Very, very great. So we're happy that this was added, although unfortunately we lost Toxic Sewer and Waste Pool, and those were also 2 really good maps for Spark. Now just in general, we're losing Defiled Cathedral. That's the map that everybody loves, and we're losing Jungle Valley, another map that everybody loves. There's no particular link to Spark, but that's just something to note. And we still have Crimson Temple, which is one of the maps I love to run on Spark. It is great for getting the double, triple damage from Spark bolts constantly coming back, hitting enemies. So yeah, look out for Carcass, look out for Crimson Temple, and yeah, as for the maps. Moving on. All right, Legion. The 5 ways have been nerfed. So this is you could think of it as a buff to Spark because both Spark Trickster and Spark Inquisitor are very tanky builds, so you can easily push the levels. Now, obviously, it's going to be hard to go 99 to 100 on any build, but you can easily hit high levels of 90, like 97, 98. So now all those like Ranger Magic Find builds, they're not going to have this free like pay 12, 15 divines to get to level 100. That's gone. But it doesn't matter to us because we can easily hit very high levels with our defenses. Also, Vengeance Cascade is gone, which is an indirect buff to Spark because that hurts all those attack projectile skills. Doesn't affect us though, so another reason why Spark is a little bit better. As for the Guardian changes, Harmony of Purpose used to be a Forbidden Flame, Forbidden Flesh option for Spark Inquisitor, and this has been reworked. It is no longer useful for us, so you can no longer use this option for your Forbidden Flame, Forbidden Flesh. Bastion of Hope was buffed, and now it gives you 25% attack and spell block if you have attacked and cast recently. And Spark will always have attacked and cast recently because we move with shield charge, which is an attack, and we are very fast at mapping, so we are going to be shield charging every 4 seconds, like guaranteed. If you're not doing that, you're not playing correctly. As for casting, we're also self-casting Sparks, so yeah, this is a huge amount of attack block and spell block. It is worthy of consideration for the Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh jewels. Let's keep scrolling. I don't think there's too many more things that were worth mentioning. In fact, I think that might be the last thing I highlighted. There's so many ruthless changes. Yeah, that's it. There's some like generic changes to the Atlas and stuff, but nothing specific to Spark. Hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, great news for Spark players. Our build is fine.